going on, everybody? I'm back again with another vlog, and today I'm gonna explore a neighborhood not too far from the World Trade Center area, which is Tribeca. It used to be like an old industrial way, but they developed the neighborhood with lofts, apartments, a lot of restaurants. You're still gonna see a lot of history, like a lot of old-fashioned buildings and cobblestones in the streets. So it's not pretty big. It's about a little over 200 acres. So I'm gonna take you guys with me, so join me. Right here is kind of like the borderline. Like this is still part of downtown, the World Trade Center area. But then when you see like the red building ahead of me, that is kind of like the beginning of Tribeca. Still gonna see a couple of tall buildings around, but then if you walk forward, you're gonna start seeing like some old historic buildings, some restaurants and shops. And I think it's a neighborhood that's pretty much worth it visiting. Like if you don't want to see like a too touristy area, but not too far from all the attractions of New York City, you can walk around here and take a look at it. So I'm just gonna go over this way to see what can I find. Here's a little sample of what I'm talking about. This is like a regular street. You can see the beautiful architecture happening around here. And then in the first floor, they got like a lot of businesses. And then you can see how they're developing like really tall skyscrapers in the back. So it's like a mixture of old architecture meeting up with new architecture. Like I say, the neighborhood is not really like that big, but I think it's pretty worth a visit. So I'm gonna walk over that way, because I think there's gonna be some pretty interesting streets that you guys are gonna see. I think it's pretty interesting how New York City manages to have some space, even though it's pretty limited. You can see like an example of this parking lot here. A couple of floors, you know, it's not too big, and a really tight space. You see a couple of those around Tribeca, and then start seeing like this old details of building. Then those are like some new apartments, and the Hudson River is not far from there. You can hear the noises of the development going on. So a couple of spots in the nighttime, it gets pretty lit around here. Here's a burger joint. I gotta say, there are some really good spots over here. If you're down for a bite or a beer or something, then Tribeca has some really decent spots. Like if you're staying around the downtown area and you want to find some areas to grab a bite, then you can come down here. You can see like they got more development going on. But then they preserve this building over here. That's really beautiful. Pretty interesting street here, and then you can get the view of the World Trade Center, Freedom Tower, with the modern skyscrapers. Let me jaywalk. Then I like this street here because it's pretty scenic. Once I cross, you're gonna see the sample. Like the development of this building, it makes you feel like if you're, I don't know, in a European city. I think this is Canal Street, and then it keeps going all the way there to Canal Street. Then over here, as you know, it's the middle of November, so it's pretty much the fall season. It's pretty interesting. In the middle of the urban, you see trees around. And you can see the colors of the trees turning into red or yellow. Then the plants over here, you know, they try to beautify the sidewalks. So I think it makes it pretty interesting. Then some high-rise buildings over there, modern architecture right here, condos, and they got like a fast food chain in the first floor. And you see a lot of kids coming out of school, because there's a school right here, so I'm gonna walk over that way to see what's happening. And just so you know, it's not even 4 o'clock, but it's already starting to get a little bit dark. You can't really see it clear in the camera that I'm filming, but that's how it is here when the daylight, when the clock goes back 1 hour ahead. So I don't mind the cold. I think I mind when it gets dark early, but try to capture as much footage. And then here's more happening around this beautiful street. Like I said, they got a lot of nice spots here. You can check it out. But of course, I love Tribeca because of the architecture they have, you know. Like every single window has a detail. Then the city hall is over that way. And like I say, this pizzeria here is pretty good. I used to eat here. It's been a minute, maybe later, but I used to grab pizza over there. And like I said, I'm really picky when it's about pizza, but that pizzeria down there is pretty good. And the neighborhood goes through Canal Street all the way to Broadway, so you know it's not that big, but it's pretty interesting to walk and explore around. So and this is a little interesting area. They have a little plaza over here. Chambers Street subway station, Canal Street is the street that takes you to the City Hall. So you can see a lot of people they sitting here and enjoying, because today, like I say, it's November 18, but the weather is almost 70 degrees. So people try to do their best to enjoy, because in a couple of days, you know, the weather's gonna drop down, be cold. And then over here, I really love the architecture of this building over here. And then they got like a market here that opens 24 hours, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, I'm a fan of walking around the sidewalk and seeing markets. This one's actually having flowers outside. It's pretty nice the way how they set it up in the sidewalk. Then of course, I love the way how the color of the bricks go with the building. Pretty nice area. Then there's another plaza ahead of me that I'm going to show you guys. This building is pretty interesting. A lot of people, they call it the Jenga building because the way how they designed the skyscraper. This one over here, it's crazy, the architecture here. Like some buildings, some floors are a little bigger than the other ones, especially in the top. So but with technology, I guess anything is possible to build. And then you see the classic art deco in the first floor. It's pretty interesting. One cool thing about Tribeca is it has an alleyway, which is the one that I'm walking right now, with a lot of history and really picture spot. A lot of people, they come and they take like Instagram pictures or any picture you want to take. It's actually like right in front of me. I just got to cross the street, and then you see there's cobblestones. Like it has the old traditional floors. You can see how they put the asphalt in this one, but then it's a little cracked up, so you see like the original, how it used to be, the history. And then I guess they try to make it look a little bit nicer. And then I guess this used to be like industrial buildings and stuff happening around. Am I gonna cross? And this is a famous alleyway. That's a little bridge. Actually, I made a video about the street years ago. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Really lovely. And it keeps going further, and then on the other side you're gonna see beautiful architecture. So after you finish walking that alleyway, you end up in a pretty nice, interesting street with the cobblestones and a beautiful Jenga building. And then all the beautiful architecture right here, which makes the neighborhood pretty interesting. At some point it kind of resembles a little bit of the meatpacking district, but this is right here in the heart of downtown, only a few blocks away from the World Trade Center. So if you walk a little forward, you can get like a neighborhood like this. And then I really love the streets with the brownish buildings. Like I said, you never get bored of walking around any neighborhood in New York City. I can walk a little forward there because there's some old buildings, like kind of looks like a little town, mixed up with a tall building in the background. And then a couple of restaurants here with outdoor dining, and of course architecture in the top. It's a really cool setup. A lot of creativity, you know. And this building here is pretty nice. And then the entrance is filled up with flowers. It's pretty cool. And then apartment complexes are really tall, but then I want to show you what's over there. This little buildings over here, mixed up with all these tall buildings, and then the World Trade Center is right there. And then here by this tall buildings, you got like a plaza over here in the entrance. This is Canal Street, combined with the old architecture and a lot of restaurants for people just chilling, enjoying themselves. And then like every street I bypass, it's like a scenic with the cobblestones and the architecture, really beautiful. And then you end up in the main street right here, Canal Street, with the high-rise buildings. And like I said, Tribeca goes all the way to Canal Street. Then ahead of me is going to be beautiful because they already have the Christmas tree set up. and they got some trees that are pretty much yellow, so it resembles like the autumn colors. So I'm gonna show you guys. This is the plaza here with the trees. You see the Christmas tree over there, and the Hudson River's over there, and Jersey City's over that way. So I think I'm gonna leave it for the end, the grand finale. So in the nighttime, I know it's gonna be beautiful, and then you see the trees with the autumn colors. Like I say, no matter what season you go in New York City, it's always beautiful, whether it's in the fall, the summer, the spring season, or the winter. I know the winter is cold, but when the snow falls down, I think it's really good to take pictures of the buildings of New York City with the streets covered in snow, so it makes it pretty interesting. And then it's pretty interesting where you got the modern architecture meeting up with the old architecture. We're right across the street. Then a bunch of bikes here. Like I said, you could rent a city bike. So many of them. And even the trees here have their lights set up, I guess, for the Christmas season. But yeah, I really love the architecture here in Tribeca. Like I said, it's a neighborhood a lot of people, I think they should venture around, explore. I think I'm gonna walk maybe a couple more blocks, and I'm gonna walk around the river to do the grand finale. I gotta say, the more you walk towards the Canal Street area, the more interesting it gets. The way how the architecture goes in the streets like this, to the point that you see the cars, they got to drive at a slow speed because they don't want to ruin the car with the way the cobblestones are, you know. But then, like I said, the architecture is pretty impressive, pretty nice, you know. It's actually pretty quiet around here, so. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do a couple of more blocks and then walk around the Hudson River. So this over here is kind of like the ending of the Tribeca neighborhood, and you can see it combined with new architecture. You know, that's the old one over there, but then they build like new apartment complex. There's a nice building over there, and that building that you see right there, well, not the building, the street actually is Canal Street, going all the way forward. And then you can take the Harlem Tunnel to New Jersey, so that's why you're gonna see like a lot of traffic jam around this area. Then here's another quiet street, like Tribeca, Washington Street. Like I said, now it's a little bit after 4 o'clock, but it looks like it's 7 o'clock, getting a little dark. But yeah, really quiet, you don't really see much people, but you do see some nice architecture over here. Even the roof, and then only a few cars walking around, so. And then they're developing some new apartment complex. Must be expensive, and then the highways over there. The Hudson River, and then the buildings of Jersey City is right across the river. So I'm gonna walk maybe a few more blocks around here and then make my way over that side. Over here, I ended up with the West Side Highway to my right hand. You see mad traffic jam, and the sunset's about to fall down. Really early, but yeah, you get some impressive views of the city. So I'm gonna see if I can cross the other side, show you guys a little bit, and then I'll wrap up the video. And then over here, I'm walking around the park, and you're gonna get some impressive views of the river. So here you get this little shore over here. The river, Jersey City's right there. And I walk a little forward. Manhattan is over that side, so impressive. Yeah, I just gotta say, breathtaking views with the Freedom Tower ahead. And I apologize if it's a little windy. And then you got Pier 26 there, which I made a video there a couple of years ago. It's all part of Tribeca. The neighborhood is right here, Tribeca. So you can end it up with this. Like I said, the weather's just perfect today in the mid-60s, you know. But I think tomorrow's gonna be a different story, so I took advantage of this weather to film this video. But yeah, pretty nice. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of Tribeca, and I hope you guys get the chance to check it out. So stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.